Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Today we're going to be diving back into the world of Cardano, and I've got some really exciting things to share with you in this video. You may be wondering, why is the background the Cardano roadmap? And I want to highlight a section of the Basho scaling sort of era that I think lots of people are underlooking. Now, you guys will know that I have expressed my love and my admiration for what sidechains are going to bring to Cardano. Essentially, sidechains will allow Cardano to become infinitely scalable and actually may be the answer or solution to interoperability with the rest of the cryptocurrency world around it. And actually, this is exactly what Milkomida are doing. We also have highlighted the World Mobile SDK chain or Tendermint chain, that will likely have IBC on it, that may be a way for Cardano to have a side chain in regards to World Mobile chain, but there'll actually be a link to the entire Cosmos ecosystem, or certainly IBC compatible chains there, which is the inter-blockchain messaging service. So I really want to extend on this a little bit more. This video was inspired on the back end of a Milkomida post that came out about 7 hours ago. And I'll go ahead and play this for you. And then we'll start where we started the video. Talk about it all. Talk about what this means. You know, if you look at the likes of Hydra, it's kind of a sidechain layer 2 solution. And I think people don't like the idea of sidechains and layer 2s because they think it takes away from the underlying Cardano layer 1 chain with Ouroboros at the consensus. But what people don't realize is these layer 2s are dependable on the layer 1s for its security and its sort of verification to allow them to work and do the weird and wonderful things that we know they're going to. And actually, we're big fans of the likes of Polkadot. So many people in the Cardano community's distaste, I'm sure. I don't think you should be one maxi guys. You know, it's technology that's taking place here. And when there's innovations with this blockchain technology, I think they should be admired and not looked at from a kind of tribalist stance. You know, I'm no one blockchain. Cardano happens to be one of my favorite blockchains, but I'm also a big fan of likes of Polkadot, what Algorand are doing with their pure proof of stake. I also like some of the things taking place with the EVM world, like ZK EVMs and all these other great things. But essentially, if you look at what Polkadot do with their relay chain, which is Polkadot, Cardano essentially becomes that, and Cardano becomes the anchor for all these layer 2s that we're yet to see and side chains that we're yet to see kind of explode and really innovate the space whilst utilizing Cardano and Haskell and all the amazing benefits that it has. This is Cardano's answer to scalability and interoperability, in my opinion. So this was from Milkomida, kind of hinting at something here. Many things coming to Milkomida. And this is one of the ones that we are particularly excited about. It says new Milkomida V2 wrapped smart contracts on Solidity, which is EVM, Algorand, Cardano, very soon. And that's that. So I wonder what they're hinting at. If you go on Milkomida's website, and I'm really hoping that I can get Milkomida on the show. I think they're doing an amazing job. You know, connecting Algorand, Solana, and Cardano all through Milkomida. And of course, they tried that with Ethereum as well. Unfortunately, there was the Nomad bridge hack. But still very early days, guys. And I'm going to do a bit of a draw for you. I'm going to try and not make this video super long. We will look at the Cardano price action, but it's not really relevant to this video. We did recently say Cardano was going to break out, and I still do believe it is. I think we're on that journey sort of back to that $1 mark, but we can cover that at another time. So Milkomida are essentially looking to bridge all these ecosystems through their sidechain. You know, this was the announcement from IOG, Input Output, introducing the Cardano EVM sidechain. The Cardano EVM sidechain is a fully decentralized scalable solution deployed by IOG. Find out more about the features, benefits, and developers. So actually, this wasn't Milkomida. This was a specific sort of IOG designed chain, but Milkomida are doing a kind of similar-ish thing in the form of a layer 2. And of course, they recently just deployed on Algorand, I believe, through rollups, but are looking to, I think, tackle Cardano through a layer 2 sort of side chain. and then hopefully through Milkamida be able to allow them all to interoperate. It's going to bring all this liquidity together, and hopefully Cardano becomes the chain of choice where people will move over to and look for the yields and farms that take place there. Very exciting for the DeFi sort of aspect of things. Getting started with Milkamida, just a quick introduction to these guys. Then we'll talk about Basho. In fact, we'll do that first. So Basho will also see the introduction of parallel accounting systems. So what are they talking about here? Well, the main Cardano blockchain will continue to use UTXO model, the ability to support and switch between UTXO and account-based models will be added using sidechains. So the underlying, and I'll do a draw to kind of simplify all this. The result will be greater interoperability for Cardano, as well as the ability to support new kinds of cases on the network. So this is a big part of Basho, this sidechain thing. This was recently introduced this year, introducing the Cardano EVM sidechain. That's not the one. IOG launches a toolkit for developing custom sidechains on Cardano. So you can become a layer 2 in opposition to what Polkadot are offering with their layer 1s on top of a layer 0. You know, it's kind of makes Cardano Polkadot-esque, but not, because it's done in a completely different fashion. But the idea is similar in regards to Cardano being the kind of relay chain, and then these other chains, layer 1, layer 2s or side chains, whatever you want to call them, being built on top of it. And remember, Hydra, the plan to scale to over 1 million transactions per second, is indeed a layer 2 scaling solution that actually may find itself as a side chain. Essentially, all it's doing is taking traffic from the main chain, which is likely never going to scale to 1 million transactions per second. It doesn't need to. So much BS out there about transactions per second, because you've got these chains that offer insane transactions per second with no usage. So I think Cardano's sort of scalability, although not the best, and it is a genuine critique you can levy against it compared to other blockchains like Algorand, for example, which can do about, I think, 6,000 to 10,000 transactions per second, more scalable than Visa. You know, it doesn't, with these layer 2 introductions, Cardano doesn't really need to be that scalable at all, because all the traffic is diverted to the layer 2s, but secured by the layer 1. Essentially with the likes of Hydra. That's kind of how it works with its 3 heads, but we'll do a whole video on Hydra. So Milkamida is a groundbreaking new protocol that brings EVM capabilities to non-EVM blockchains. As developers progress, Milkamida will expand to offer layer 2 solutions rollups for several major blockchains, including Cardano, Solana, and Algorand. Currently, we have EVM-based sidechain connected to Cardano, so Milkamida C1, and EVM rollup connected to Algorand. And essentially talks about why, it talks about features. Getting started with Cardano. For users, end users can send Cardano or ADA from the Cardano mainnet to a bridge asset and receive wrapped data on Milkamida sidechain. Jump ahead to the settings, but then you'll essentially be able to take ADA and interact it with, you'll have Algorand on Cardano, you'll have Cardano and Algorand and all the sort of DeFi tokens and everything associated with it through this sidechain. So it opens up a massive pool of liquidity. This was certainly interesting, but brings us back onto the kind of idea that sidechains are just so damn revolutionary. Because if you think about Cardano's main chain, let's do this neat. You've got Cardano as a main chain, and it's got these blocks in it. You know, it's producing a block at whatever it's producing a block. Essentially, what you're going to have, just to be sort of speed this up a little bit, is, and bearing in mind, Cardano's consensus mechanism has proven very sturdy, certainly with the, I think it was over 50% node outage. Fantastic, amazing how it sort of self-dealt with that. But if this is Cardano as a kind of Cardano, the main chain, you essentially have side chains which will have their own weird and wonderful ways of dealing with things that will sort of vertically scale with this. So this is perhaps Milkamida. Okay, and then it will have its way of processing, you know, whether it's larger block sizes or whether it's just a lot smaller block sizes with a lot more of them, whatever it may be, how they've decided to design their sidechain. And then essentially from there, you'll have these connectivity points with, let's say, Algorand's main chain, and so on and so forth. And, you know, maybe you've got World Mobile sidechain here, which all of these sidechains, you know, let's say this is Algorand, just doing this very messily. And that'll be a kind of interoperability link through maybe a bridge or something like that. But this chain, which we're calling Milkamida sidechain, essentially has to transact, however they decided to run their chain and deal with the block production, with Cardano and utilize it and cross-reference it. To have these cross-reference points. So you can see that typically with sidechains, they'll use things like batching and roll-ups and all these other things. That's not what we want. But there'll be these kind of points of connectivity, or maybe even they miss a block every now and then, but check on this block. But then you'll have chains like, well, mobile chain, which will essentially run in however it runs. Or sidechain, it will have its own sort of consensus. But it will utilize Cardano's underlying consensus. But the difference is it's now got IBC, which allows it to sort of cross-chain message with the entire Cosmos ecosystem, which has, we're running into the price action here, you know, multiple chains off of it. You know, and these are all their own layer ones within the Cosmos ecosystem, and they can all interoperate and connect and can actually message and soon swap tokens between them, bringing it onto the World Mobile chain, which will be able to interact here. You know, there will be a way that you can take what's on the side chains and put it onto the Cardano main chain, and vice versa, and kind of interoperate with this whole thing. I don't think it's going to be long before we have a DeFi side chain for super fast transactions and basically speeds up DeFi. But maybe that is the likes of Hydra, and that's what I'm talking about. So this is huge news. Milkamida are doing great things in terms of interoperability, also for Cardano itself. And I think people think that layer 2s and sidechains actually take away from Cardano. But what they don't realize is that everything is centered and only works, and there's a vested interest in this main chain here. And you could essentially scale this up and up and up and up and up and up and up until, you know, as long as you wanted, really, providing that the underlying chain, because the problem you have is if you have too many side chains that all need to verify the main chain, it becomes like the traffic to the main chain is obviously going to increase. Yeah, it's not going to have all the traffic that's been rediverted onto these, but the main chain will need to scale more than it already is, with the sort of emergence of all these other chains and certainly a lot of this cross-chain traffic. But it's a pretty bloody bright future, guys. And I don't see people really talking about side chains and what they mean. But side chains actually, you know, for somebody that's a massive fan of Polkadot, massive fan of Cosmos, likes what Algorand's doing, likes what lots of these other blockchains are doing, I think Cardano are onto a real winner here with side chains and aggressively using it as their sort of scaling and interoperability solution. And it is only one, but it's one of the main ones, you know, sort of highlighted in the Basho era. Let me tell you, you know, you guys are so early to the sort of party when it comes to Cardano. You know, it's got such a bright future ahead of it, and if it achieves the things that I believe it's going to, you know, and then you have other side chains like, for example, Prism, Atala Prism, which is identity and all these other great things where you run, you know, it all utilizes the main chain. I think there's going to be an explosion of side chains and an explosion of usage for Cardano through that. And the thing with Cardano where it beats a lot of other blockchains is it's ran without floor, and also it's from a computer science sort of point of view, I've not spoken to one that hasn't gone, yeah, this is an amazing design. And lots of people have taken influence from Ouroboros and many of these other sort of things that IOG has open sourced. I would love to have Charles Hoskinson on the show. Of course, Milkamida. I'd love to get these guys on the show. And I just want to give a shout out to anybody who's building within the Cardano space right now. If you're interested in coming on the show and talking about your project, you know, we didn't find Imperta Lang Niels. I saw what he was doing, thought it was interesting. Hadn't really seen him interviewed at all. And now, you know, he not through the interview is he doing very well. He had done very well on his own accord. He's a very smart guy. But I'm all for, as a Cardano content creator, I've been creating Cardano content for nearly 3 years now, for sharing builders within the space. So if you're listening and you think that applies to you, please reach out to me on Twitter or any of the other methods. And I'll certainly entertain the idea. That's all I've got for you in this video, guys. Hopefully you've all had a magic, I was going to say Monday, but it's Wednesday, or certainly I'll be releasing this video on Wednesday. Bright future ahead, guys. Catch you all in the next one.